Hello everybody and welcome to our discussion of the book for day 6 of this Read a Book Everyday challenge that I am doing right now in the month of October of 2025. Now I won't lie guys, I was feeling very down yesterday. We seem to be running up against an issue that contemporary romances were just letting me down. And as a contemporary romance girly, I was feeling blue. And I was feeling blue to my bones. So when I had to choose what book to read yesterday, I was like, I need something that will prove to me, or at least remind me, that contemporary romance can be brilliant. And I thought to myself, the only way I'm going to remedy how low I am feeling is by getting myself something that I absolutely know will slap. Because if I read a book that is going to disappoint me, I might not be able to carry on with this challenge. It's like I was hit with post-alchemized blues that were then just compounded by reading rubbish contemporary romance, and I was like, I will not be able to hack another. So I decided, for my own sake, and for the sake of this challenge, and for the sake of everyone around me, to do something I rarely, if ever, do. I thought, let's do a Read a Book Everyday challenge first. We are 3 years into me doing this, by the way, and this is the very first time ever that I'm going to come online and tell you I willingly reread a book. I know, anyone who knows me will say, Christy, don't you have the world's biggest TBR? Can't you just not justify rereading a book? And normally that is true. But I was so down. I needed something that I just absolutely knew was going to slap. And I thought, well, the only way I can guarantee that is by reading something that I know slaps. And I was lucky enough to have this copy of Willing Prey sent to me by the team at Evermore. And it actually comes out now. So if you want a copy of Willing Prey, oh my goodness, guys, it's now available. But this arrived, and on the very day I unwrapped it, I had to read it immediately. So I've read this book beginning to end. Oh, I can't even remember when now. And it has stayed with me since because it was that good. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to pick up a 5-star read. I need the following things from a book. I need to read something that is well written. I need something with characters that are actually interesting. And you know what? I'll put my hands up. I wanted spice. I wanted spice that would actually make me feel something. And this book, god damn does it deliver in that department. So let's discuss Willing Prey, the first book in more than 3 years that I have ever wanted to read a second time. And I'll tell you why it's so good. Now the premise of Willing Prey is nice and simple. Claire, your female main character, is down on her luck, recently divorced, and her husband has taken pretty much all of their shared assets. She's got student loan debt. Homegirl is a teacher and she is struggling to pay all her bills. She has accepted an offer to spend 30 days out in this big, beautiful house, surrounded by woodland, and be paid for it. The main element of the deal is that throughout those 30 days, she is going to be chased through the woods, because our girl Claire likes being chased. Enter our main male character, Shane. Shane is a lawyer, and Claire's ex-husband used to work for Shane. And at a work party, Claire's absolutely garbage rat of an ex mentioned the special interest that he and Claire shared. Upon meeting Claire at this party, Shane realises, hey, this is my flavour of woman, and that's my flavour of special interest. So now that Claire and her husband are divorced, Shane reaches out to Claire with an offer. Hey, why don't I pay you to spend 30 days out in my big, beautiful house where I can chase you through the woods, catch you, and do what I want with you? And I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's so good. Not only am I gonna put my hands on myself, I was very into the special interest that these two shared. I surprised myself. I'm genuinely considering taking up running as a hobby, just in case. You never know. But the spice in this, brilliant. Not just because, it's well written, it is interesting, it's not your run-of-the-mill normal stuff, but because I think this book perfectly displays why spice is so important in romance novels. I engage quite a bit with conversations online around spicy books and the attitudes that people have when they're talking about romance, and specifically spicy romance, as a genre. Because it gets a bad rep. And I feel very strongly that all of that is rooted in misogyny. That on its own can be an entire rant essay. But attitudes towards romance novels are inherently problematic. And people who espouse this very diminishing tone, this dismissive nature towards romance as a genre, to my mind, they are ill-informed. And as much as I may try, it is difficult via the internet for me to be as persuasive as I want to be when it comes to making my case about how valid romance is as a literary genre. The point alone that this is is the genre that actually makes money in publishing. Murder mystery thrillers and romance books are where the money's at. Should be enough to make people take romance seriously. But no, because it's mainly written by non-men for non-men. God forbid. Sorry, I know I need to take a chill pill, but I really care about this subject. And one of the reasons I care so much about spice in romance books is because open door romances are depicting something very important. Unsurprisingly, sex is never just sex, both in fiction and non-fiction realms. Within books, sexual acts can be depicting a whole range of things. And this book is brilliant for not only depicting, but then also explaining about what sex symbolizes in romantic literature. Within this book, the sexual acts are aggressive. They are, I'm going to use the word intentionally, primal in nature. And lots of people will say, that's just gratuitous, that's unnecessary. And to those people I say, how are you so incredibly wrong? Because what's being depicted in this book through sexual acts is the art of being completely vulnerable with somebody else. It is a physical act that represents so much more than just the physical. This book quite clearly depicts sex as an act of trust, of exposing oneself to another, sharing intimate things about yourself with another human being, and how important that is. That sex can mean freedom. It's an incredibly vulnerable act. And it talks a great deal about power and dynamics between individuals engaging in sexual acts with each other. On the surface, this book may very much seem like a traditional man is strong chasing down woman, making her do things he wants in the woods. But what is most interesting about the depiction of sexual situations within literature where there is a more dominant and a more submissive individual is that what is being depicted is one of the most important elements of sexual acts, full stop. And that is consent. Because even though the very nature and allure of the sexual acts in this book is that Claire has to fight back for both of them to get what they want in this scenario, absolutely everything done is 100% consensual. Claire never has to do anything she does not want to do. Claire enjoys what she is doing, and it is the way both of them are able to experience release. Even though to many, Claire's situation will seem like the submissive female partner in this sexual relationship, Claire is in fact in a situation where at absolutely any point, everything will stop if she wants it to. And that, by its very nature, is incredibly empowering. It's what draws both women and men to sexual relationships of this nature. There is power in being the submissive partner. And I think this book depicts that so well. Claire is such a brilliant female lead character. And what's lovely is because this book is dual POV, you also see what Shane gains from this relationship. Shane has been brought up in what is clearly an abusive familial environment, and I think Shane and his siblings are so interesting. Allie has explicitly told me she's already working on a next book for one of Shane's siblings, and I am so excited because it's exactly what I wanted her to write. But what Shane is able to experience with Claire, this lack of fear, this acceptance, it's really important. This is a strong male character who is allowing himself to be literally incredibly vulnerable. He is exposing himself in every which way to someone he completely and utterly trusts to give that back because she is doing the same. The give and take, the consensual nature of two true peers and equals is what's being shown here. This is so much more than just two people getting kinky in the woods. This is a narrative about two scared, vulnerable adults creating a safe space for each other where they both get to experience release. It is comfort. It is being comfortable with someone else. It is finding your partner. And I loved it. It's so well done. I read an awful lot of spice, and I have to say the spicy scenes in this were absolutely top notch. It felt creative. It was always full of energy. But more to that, it had a point. And I love that. Quite often, if I'm picking up a spicy book, I don't need it to have a point. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Here, I got everything I wanted and more. I got an absolutely prime piece of romantic literature wrapped up in visceral, graphic scenes that I loved. Honestly, Every flavour of this was a flavour I liked. The characters were interesting. The setting was actually beautiful. I loved the woodland they were in. The symbolism, the tone, everything about this book was perfect. There's not a single thing in this I would change. Considering I'd never heard of Allie before picking this up, and I have to say, I am a massive fan. We are now friends on TikTok. I want the people I know to pick up this book and read it, not just because I think it's brilliant and I know they're going to love it, but also because I gotta support Allie. Girl is out here letting her freak flag fly. And I'm sorry, but I will be an unapologetic champion of women being like, do you know what? If you're into something weird, just JFDI. Write it, do it, be it. Why not? There's so much passion to this, and I think there's nothing more attractive than passion. I want to read a book where the characters are giving 10 out of 10 and the writer is giving 10 out of 10 on every single page of the book, and this does it. This is brilliant. I even love the name because I think the nature of explicit consent is also imbued in the cover. She's willing prey. She wants to be chased. But everybody who's like, oh, these spicy romances where they're getting into weird stuff, it's disgusting. I'm sorry. No, it's not. This is adult. This is powerful. This is empowering. And damn it was so good. It was exactly what I needed yesterday. I wanted a book that I knew would slap, and this book, I can guarantee you it slaps. If you've never heard of this before, guys, please, you can't say that anymore. It is amazing. I love this book. I can't recommend it enough. The fact that this is the first thing in years that I've actually even considered rereading should tell you a lot. I think the conflict really wasn't overdone. Like, it was understandable. And it all centers around this idea of being vulnerable. Things that Claire's worried about, being attractive as a woman whose partner has previously cheated on her. It was so understandable and relatable. And seeing as you have Shane's POV, you actually see a very vulnerable, flawed, frightened man. And I think that was brilliant. Someone who externally seems so confident and sexually seems so confident. Actually getting inside of that and seeing all the things he's dealing with, it was done beautifully. He was a beautiful character. I also love a book that gives depth to non-priority characters. Like, the sequel for this, the next book Allie's writing, is so well set up without distracting from the main narrative. We got to the end of this and I was like, I hope she writes another, and I hope it's about these two. I'm seeing little Easter eggs, but they were done very well. But my absolute favourite thing in this book is the fact that we get to see the two of them meeting from both POVs retrospectively. And the way each character retells their initial meeting and impressions of the other, honest to God, I thought it was really funny. Because you first see their meeting from Claire's POV, and at this point, Claire's married, right? She's at this Christmas party, and her husband is telling all these people about what they're into. She walks up, and she's wearing this Christmas jumper, and what she remembers is Shane being handsome but standoffish and awkward, and him being really into her jumper. And she's like, I guess he really likes cats. That was very nerdy, quite endearing, but odd. And when you see it from his perspective, he's like, I knew she was married, but she just completely battered off all my very blatant attempts at flirting. My jokes about her jumper. I was like, oh my God, he's such a nerd. He's so weird. I love him. I loved Shane. He was so cute. And I loved Shane's brother. I just loved everything about Shane. I thought he was wonderful. Claire's brilliant. Shane is wonderful. Every character in this book that you are meant to like, you love. Is there a little bit of misunderstanding? Yes. Did I see it coming as it was happening? I was like, yes, I know exactly what this misdirect is. Did I like it? Kind of, yeah. Because I knew it was going to be resolved quite swiftly. We were getting very much to the end of the book anyway. And it lined up perfectly with their own individual insecurities. Like, it had in-world logic that so many other books that have, like, the main crisis point be a bit of miscommunication that they just fail at. We were working towards this from page 1, so it didn't feel misplaced. I'm not going to say, it was a bit of a misunderstanding and be annoyed at that. No, it actually did logic itself out. It was signposted from early on that this was probably what was going to happen, so when it happened I wasn't surprised, and it also fit with the characters and what was going on. So I would actually say this miscommunication, it's how it kind of should be done. So I was very, very happy with this book. It is a 5-star read, and it's a 5-star read I've read twice, and I'm still going to say it's a 5-star read. How do you double up that score? I don't know. Really, really happy that I picked this one up again. I've got to thoroughly recommend that now it's available, you grab a copy. I've got to say thank you to the Nevermore team for sending me this, because it's a book that I liked enough to read twice. I hope Allie watches this video. I hope the Nevermore team watch this video. And if I do not get arcs of the next books, if I am not involved in whatever comes next, I will be heartbroken and I will take it personally. I don't mind saying that on here. I like this book so much that I will put my hands up and say, if I am not kept abreast with what is going on in the Allie Oleander verse, I will be heartbroken because this book is so good. And I hope people go out and read this book because they've heard me tell them to. This is one where I want you to listen to me. You will really enjoy it. I won't ever tell you what to do, but I am going to let you know that if you don't read this, you are missing out on a really good time and a really well-written romance novel. That is spicy AF. It's brilliant. It gets 5 stars from me. I know what the kind of people who follow me like, right? And I'm going to tell you now, you're going to love this. This is right up our alley. If you and I like similar books, you are going to absolutely love this. So yeah, I feel so much better now. This book has, I swear to God, reanimated my soul. And people are like, Christy, what book was it that you really got your fire going again? And I'm like, it's a primal kink romance novel that I got sent for free. People will look at me and go, that tells us a lot about you, but I don't care. It was so good. It's like I've returned back to myself. I needed this. It was fantastic. And now I'm going to go and read the new release from the author that's given a title quote to this. I'm going to go from Allie Oleander's Willing Prey to Allie Hazelwood's new release Mate. And if Allie Hazelwood lets me down, there is something wrong with the universe, okay? I'm convinced that book's going to be good, and if that lets me down, that will be my 13th reason. I'm just letting you all know, no matter how much this has brought me up, if Mate flops, I'm going to crash down hella hard. But here we are. I'm about to go off and start book 7 in this challenge. And that will have taken us a whole week. We'll be a whole week in the next time I see you. How crazy is that? This challenge is absolutely flying by. It will be Halloween before we know it, guys. So if you haven't already, please give this video a like. Give us a cheeky comment if you're going to go grab a copy, because I really want you to. And if you don't already, please give the channel a follow. I'm trying to get myself established on BookTube. I know she's a book talker, but I feel like I belong here. I love a good waffle. And apparently this is the space where you're meant to come and just waffle. So follow my channel. That way you can see me do this every day. At least until the end of October. I'm not promising to post every single day after that, because I might be dead on the floor. But please don't be a stranger. And I will see you later, alligators. Goodbye for now.